I'm delighted to be joined by Dany, Global Vice President at JinkoSolar. Dany, thank you for joining us today. My first question to you is, what is the message that JinkoSolar is trying to convey this week at Climate Week NYC?
I think the year 2020 is unbelievable. It seems a human tragedy that has changed everything. Some will return back to the origin, some will never. So at this critical time, it's important that the government and the investors treat coronavirus not as a signal to slow down, but to speed up in a new and sustainable way. After coronavirus, two things are clear. First, we should invest in things that strengthen the health and the well-being of our citizens. We must look at reducing their economic and infrastructure vulnerability. So not more than ever, it's vital that countries put renewable and other low-carbon technologies at the core to build back better after coronavirus, creating jobs and rebooting their economies. According to ARENA's latest global renewable outlook, and ambitious yet realistic energy transformation will bring the benefit worth 100 to 150 trillion US dollar by the year 2050, growing the world economy by 2.4%. So as for this is for the country's aspect, and for the business sectors, it's exactly the right time to invest or to use renewables. Too early could be too costly, but later will be really too late. For investors, a clean energy, particularly solar power, generates an economic return 3 to 8 times higher than your initial investment. And for industry consumers, clean energy, for example, the solar power is cheaper now. It's even much cheaper than coal-fired power price. So now join RE100 by committing 100% powered by renewables. It's not only a matter of CSR. It's a matter of economic sensible and smart investment. So doing well by doing good is now realistic and has become new strategies for more and more business. I think this is the message we'd like to share with the rest of the business world.
Brilliant. Thank you for that answer. It's really interesting. I just want to pick up on something you mentioned there. Obviously, 2020 has been a year like no other, nothing we've seen before. How have the events of this year changed the pace or the way in which you're trying to tackle climate change?
Today is the 1-year anniversary of being RE100 members. Actually, JinkoSolar has experienced a very special year. At the first phase of pandemic outbreak, because of the disruption of supply chain, postpone of projects, and the incredibly low oil price, the green transition has probably slowed down, as surviving the coming recession at any cost will take the front seat. But this in return will make the countries and companies, including JinkoSolar, to rethink our energy mix and the way we generate and use the electricity, for example. So this could increase the demand of solar and other low carbon technologies. And since the world must stay the course for continuous infrastructure investment, even in these economically trying times, withdrawal, I think, will not be an option. Quite the opposite. This crisis will be viewed as an opportunity for most countries to cement itself as a long-term player in energy security.
You mentioned...
yeah.
Sorry, please continue.
So as a solar company, as well as our RE100 member, in addition to our commitment to reduce our footprint, and JinkoSolar will reserve no effort to continuously improve the solar technology in terms of cost, efficiency, intermittency and digital enabling to make it better or close to be perfect without outstanding weakness, and make it inclusively benefit for the whole world.
Thank you. And you mentioned there your membership of the Climate Group's RE100 program. I'd like to ask, what role does collaboration play in how you're tackling this? And do you find, weeks such as Climate Week NYC or COP26, which obviously is being postponed to next year, do you find these key opportunities to collaborate with others and further accelerate the change that you're making?
Within the context of postpone of COP26, I think that the Climate Week provides a unique opportunity to remind the global community that that crisis like coronavirus is one more wake-up call for the scale of action on climate change. So I think that's to address the challenges of climate. One industry or one single industry or one single company is not enough. We need more transatlantic cooperations. We need to push on the policymakers to use their massive economic stimulus packages to support the low carbon technologies, politically, institutionally, and also economically. So we need more cooperation among industries. We need more ecosystems, not only in energy generation side, but also in energy transferring side or energy application. So we must to make it to realize the so-called the future energy, that is decarbonization, digitalization, and decentralization. So it's not a task or responsibility of one industry. It needs every business sector, every private companies to realize that they will be a contributor in this action on climate change.
And just one final question from me. You mentioned there about putting pressure on governments and other businesses to go in the right direction. And as an organization that's been at the forefront of putting this pressure on and collaborating with others to do so, do you think it is working? Do you think that progress is being made?
I think that's actually we have done a lot of work, and it's an incredible jobs, particularly from the RE100 teams. Yeah, it's an honor to work with such a great team. But we actually, I still think that we are far behind the progress. So particularly facing this coronavirus outbreak, that's lots of the works we have to, it seems in pending, or even how to say, they think it's a negative impact on the progress of act on climate change. So that's why we think that the Climate Week is play a critical role to drive on the common climate policies, the pushing and urging the transatlantic cooperations, the cross-industry cooperations, and the pushing those policymakers to use their stimulus packages to continue the more aggressive actions on climate change.
Well, it sounds like we're getting there, but more needs to be done. That's really insightful and interesting. Dany, Global Vice President at JinkoSolar, thank you so much for joining us at Climate Week NYC, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.